In the tempest-ridden 17th century, William Adams sailed alone across the deadly ocean shipping lanes. He once lay on the brink of death, condemned as a prisoner, yet unexpectedly rose to become the most enigmatic English samurai serving the Tokugawa shogunate. As worldly power intertwined with endless loneliness, how did this foreign wanderer find inner peace amid the cracks dividing two vastly different civilizations? Tonight, accompanied by the soft gentle glow of flickering hearth flames, let us walk into the profound untold story of his entire life. He remains the only English navigator in all recorded history to earn the formal rank and honor of a samurai. William Adams. He stood beside Tokugawa Ieyasu, witnessing the great turning of an era, yet spent his entire life trapped in sorrow, unable to ever return to his distant homeland. This is a timeless tale of loyalty, political maneuvering, and profound existential loneliness, meant for quiet reflection deep into the night. On this tranquil evening, follow the footsteps of this blue-eyed samurai and seek the quiet resting place of your own wandering soul. The fate of some men is sealed the moment they set foot upon the rolling waves, destined never to fully belong to the homeland they left behind. William Adams, once an ordinary English pilot, embarked on a legendary second life far away in the islands of Japan. He brought advanced Western navigation, shipbuilding, and military knowledge to the shogunate, yet never again commanded a vessel to sail across the ocean toward the misty shores of London. You need not dwell on remembering every twist and turn of this story tonight. Simply drift along with him amid soft whispered narration as he wanders endlessly upon the boundless sea. In the distant year 1600, when the open ocean remained dark, mysterious, and terrifying to all who sailed upon its waters, a battered, weathered Dutch merchant ship drifted precariously toward the coastline of Kyushu, Japan, its hull scarred and broken as if gnawed upon by mythical sea monsters. Upon its deck lay the bodies of countless deceased sailors, leaving only one frail, exhausted English navigator barely able to stand upright. This lone survivor was William Adams. At that moment he stood condemned as a heretic prisoner, waiting for judgment from the powerful rulers of the East. Tonight, accompanied by the softly flickering glow of the hearth fire, we walk fully into the untold life of this remarkable soul. Through this tranquil tale meant only for quiet reflection, written off and forgotten in European records, he miraculously attained the dignity and status of a samurai amid the fierce political struggles of the Japanese shogunate. Clad in elegant silk kimono with two sharp samurai blades tucked at his waist, he still gazed toward the distant horizon, every dusk yearning for the misty, rainy streets of London. This is a quiet epic of surviving within overwhelming foreign strangeness and tasting profound solitude, standing at the very peak of worldly power. The first time William Adams knelt before Tokugawa Ieyasu, the chill of impending death cut sharper and colder than the icy waves of the Caspian Sea surrounding. Christian missionaries pressed eagerly for him to be burned alive as a dangerous religious rival, yet Ieyasu's sharp, penetrating gaze saw past all religious prejudice and petty rivalry. Ieyasu asked him where he had come from and what drove him to cross half the globe to set foot upon this remote eastern land, weakened by starvation and raging fever. Adams traced the outline of the world upon the sand with trembling hands, explaining the movement of stars, ocean trade routes, and the vast layout of distant continents. He spoke not of divine scripture or religious faith, but of geography, mathematics, cannon warfare, and the refined craft of shipbuilding. This radiant light of rational thought stood strangely captivating amid an era steeped in superstition, chaos, and the final turbulent years of Japan's Sengoku period. Drawn to this learned red-haired foreigner, Ieyasu chose to spare his life. Adams could never have known that this single act of merciful kindness became an invisible, unbreakable chain, imprisoning him forever upon this isolated island nation. He endured long, lonely days and nights confined within dark dungeon cells, listening to the unfamiliar chirp of cicadas outside the stone walls. Slowly he came to understand a harsh, undeniable truth: trapped within an entirely alien civilization, if he wished to survive, he must bury the old English sailor within himself and allow a brand new identity to rise, reborn from the ashes of his former life. Under the personal command of Tokugawa Ieyasu, Adams was taken to the picturesque, peaceful coastline of Edo. Blessed with natural beauty and calm waters, Ieyasu entrusted him with a task deemed nearly impossible by all others: to construct a full three-masted sailing ship in the Western style, using only native Japanese timber and local labor. Though Adams had never personally built an entire vessel from scratch, he carried within his mind the precise layout of every beam, nail, and bolt along the banks of the River Thames. He directed Japanese craftsmen who had never laid eyes on a Western ship's keel, navigating constant clashes of language, custom, and structural logic. As work progressed slowly day by day, each early morning he watched the sun rise gently over the sea, the same direction that led back toward his long-forgotten home. Yet as night fell, he remained trapped amid piles of complex blueprints under the watchful, scrutinizing eyes of loyal shogunate samurai. When the first newly built ship named San Buenaventura glided smoothly down the shore into open waters. A thunderous roar of celebration erupted from the gathered crowd. Adams felt no surge of triumphant joy. He only stared quietly at the vessel rocking softly upon the waves. Overcome by an overwhelming sense of desolate emptiness, he pleaded earnestly with Ieyasu now that the ship was completed, grant him permission to sail back to London to reunite with his wife and children left behind across the sea. Ieyasu only smiled gently, bestowing upon him an unprecedented lavish reward, a vast estate on the Miura Peninsula and the official honored title of samurai. From that moment onward the old navigator William Adams faded away forever, and Miura Anjin was reborn upon the land gifted to him by the shogun. Reborn under the Japanese name Miura Anjin, Adams lived a life of wealth, status and privilege, envied even by many regional feudal lords of his time. He owned a sprawling manor, loyal retainers, and was persuaded to marry a local Japanese woman, starting a new family to root himself firmly in Japanese society. As a symbol of unwavering loyalty, he walked the long quiet corridors of Edo Castle, the soft rustle of silk kimono fabric a constant reminder of his elevated noble standing. Ieyasu often summoned him late into the night, not merely to discuss state affairs but simply to listen to vivid tales of faraway lands, exotic customs, and the mysterious edges of the known world. Beneath such extraordinary imperial favor, Adams became entangled in a profound civilizational struggle without escape. He was forced to balance the rigid code of loyalty demanded by Japanese tradition with the innate love of freedom flowing within his Western blood, walking a precarious, fragile line between two worlds. When Dutch and English merchant ships later began arriving one after another at the port of Hirado, Adams rushed desperately toward the familiar European faces filled with desperate hope. Yet those Western sailors stared back at the kimono-clad foreign samurai with strange hairstyles marked by deep wariness and quiet rejection. To the Japanese he was the wise, mysterious, honored outsider. To his own countrymen he appeared a traitor, fully assimilated into Eastern culture, cast aside by his own kind. This sense of belonging, nowhere adrift between two worlds, weighed far heavier than any storm raging in the middle of the ocean. In letters written to his wife back in England, his handwriting grew distorted and uneven, gradually interwoven with Japanese words and expressions. He realized with quiet sorrow he could no longer comfortably sit upon a chair, instead naturally folding his legs in traditional Japanese posture, sinking into silent contemplation amid the soft aroma of brewed tea. Following the passing of his greatest patron Tokugawa Ieyasu, Adams lost his strongest protection and secure standing within the shogunate. The new ruling power structure began pushing aside all foreign outsiders, stripping away many of his long-held privileges. Yet he remained steadfast in his role as a samurai, honoring the oath forced upon him, which had slowly etched itself deep into his soul. In his later years he often sat alone beside the quiet graveyards of Hirado, gazing upon the weathered tombstones of fellow sailors who had once sailed beside him. He had countless chances to escape Japan, legally obtaining official permission to leave and sail for home time and again, yet each time he stood upon the ship's deck watching the Japanese coastline fade slowly into the distance, he always turned back, unable to bring himself to depart. Was it lingering attachment to his Japanese wife and children, or the quiet realization that he no longer belonged in the old life waiting for him in London? He wandered like a lost traveler trapped within an endless maze of mirrors, coming to understand at last that he would forever remain a stranger no matter which shore he chose to call home. In his final will he divided his estate equally, leaving half his wealth and land to his family in England and half to his Japanese loved ones. This strict perfect division mirrored the unhealed fracture split wide across his soul by the endless divide of the ocean on a cool, quiet afternoon in 1620. This great navigator closed his eyes forever, passing away peacefully in Hirado. His funeral followed traditional Japanese rituals, and in that final moment he truly became an eternal part of the land that had sheltered him for 20 years. Even today stone monuments carved with the name Anjin still stand quietly upon the Miura Peninsula near Yokosuka, marking William Adams' final, most peaceful resting place upon the earth. His life began as a desperate escape from death, evolving gradually into a profound spiritual journey of self-discovery and quiet acceptance. Alone in overwhelming loneliness, he built an imperfect, lasting bridge connecting two entirely separate civilizations. People often speak of returning to one's roots in old age. Yet for Adams, roots could grow firmly within foreign soil carried across the tides of fate. There is no need to pity him for never returning to his homeland. During those 20 long years, amid falling cherry blossoms and quiet seasonal change, he likely found his own inner peace, far away from the world he once knew. Now the night wind outside carries the soft rhythm of ocean waves. The hearth fire dwindles low, marking the perfect hour for quiet rest. Let go of heavy thoughts of belonging, identity, and home. On this still night you already possess your own safe harbor. May your dreams grant you the clarity of an ancient navigator, able to read the stars, chart your own course, and find lasting peace within your heart. Good night and sweet dreams.